Who am I? I'm Dave Knifton, Lead Global Data Architect with HSBC Wholesale Bank. Also a bit of an author, public speaker, and developed courses for several universities in the UK and US. Today, what I wanted to do was start with what I believe is a common problem statement that you would all think, yeah, that applies to me, irrespective of the industry or your own specialisms. I think you'd all agree that actually we face very, very common problems right across the globe in all organizations. Then what I'll try and do in very short measure is try and describe, okay, well, that's where we are, but let's figure out where we need to get to and then figure out what those simple steps are that will transform our organization to be able to deal with the modern world more effectively. And I believe that's all about agility. Then at the end, if we do get a moment or two, hopefully we can get some questions that you've recorded on the chat function as we've been going that occur to you. And I'll try and pick out a few that I think I could probably answer in about 25 seconds that will be remaining. So this is the statement. I think we all face exactly these problems, that the world around us is changing ever more rapidly. Those changes are not lots of little. Actually, they're lots of big, and they're having extreme dislocation forces on our organizations. We're constantly working harder, even to keep to where we started at the beginning of the year, to keep to that level. So I think also, another thing I just want to point out about this is that because everything's compressed and bigger, there's very few of us who are amassing any experience that is useful for the future. And that's another thing, that we're making critical decisions. Even if we're using AI, ML or any other analytics, we're making critical decisions which are far-reaching or have far-reaching consequences for organizations, but they're not really based upon what we know. They're based upon our best guesses, and that is something that we need to worry about. Of course, summits like this are helping to share the best from right across the globe, across all organizations. And I'll just spat at a few things here which I think may resonate with those who are in attendance. So how are we going to get out from where we are at the moment? And I think what I'll do is just pose this question very quickly to you. Don't need to write this down. Which is the most important factor would you rate to help our organizations achieve their strategic goals? Kubernetes, ClickSense, AIML, Hadoop, data, or MuleSoft? And I think the answer is based upon the fact that all but the tiniest organizations on the globe are driven pretty much by data to organize themselves and increasingly to create their products, to disseminate their products across the globe. Everything relies on data, even the construction of those products. You know, we've got speakers from Daimler here. They would say that actually data is critical to their operations. They can't build the trucks without data. They can't build the right trucks without the data, and they can't take their orders and facilitate plans for purchases for fleets and so on and so forth. So if data is so critical, we need to stop thinking about data as a problem and start to think about data as actually the tool. It's the thing that we're going to use going forward to transform our organizations. And the first step in that is to recognize that all our organizations are data organizations. There is no choice on that. That is the present, and it is the foreseeable future. So the answer to that quick mental quiz, I think, is that we need to use data to inform our organization strategy, where we're going next. It needs to be based upon hard evidence, even though that hard evidence is increasingly, AI, ML on big data. It gives us a pointer as to where to send the organization next. And of course, the next thing we need to do is think about how the organization strategy drives the use of our data. And these two things need to work in a positive cycle of reinforcement.